Hi guys, this is Sarah from Natural Peace Living. Welcome to video number 5 in our new Tarot Major Arcana video series. We have been going through individually each Major Arcana card. We started a couple weeks ago with the Fool card, and today we have landed on the Emperor. So I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I want to stop for a second, and please, if you have not already, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I am doing a whole lot of work bringing these videos to you and bringing all sorts of other kinds of videos with a focus on life coaching and spirituality. And some of the other resources that I find that have been super helpful for me in my journey. So if you haven't yet, take this time to subscribe to the channel. And yes, so then you're all ready to go and you will be notified when new videos come up. So here we are. Today, we're going to talk about the Emperor card. The last video that we did focused on the Empress card, and then before her, we focused on the High Priestess, and then the Magician before that, and we started out our Major Arcana series with the Fool card. So, what we're going to do today, we are going to first take a look at the Emperor card in the Rider-Waite Tarot because he's really well known. So we're going to be taking a look at this guy out of 4 different decks, and I will go through each deck individually and let you know, what you can expect from this deck. And like I said, the Rider-Waite deck is a very popular one. So, so let's get going here. We're going to talk about the Emperor and what he signifies when we see him come up in tarot. So the goal with these videos is to bring kind of the practicality out of the tarot and to kind of acknowledge if this card has come up for you, if you're watching this video, there's a good chance that there's something in this that you will be able to benefit from. So we talked last time about the Empress, who is like the mother of the tarot and very nurturing and very kind, very gentle. The Emperor is actually the father. So when we see the Emperor, we have to start thinking about all of the masculine traits that we associate with our fathers, with our husbands, with the masculine side of the people that are in our lives, even our sons if we have little boys or grown men or whoever it happens to be. So what the Emperor signifies is lots of different things that we associate with masculinity. I always call him the man's man. So he is... he's very responsible. He's very black and white. He likes to think about things. He likes to understand things, understand how things are happening around him. He's very prepared. Like I said, he tends to be a super responsible kind of guy because, we look at how fathers are symbolized, and what we see in our experience is, the man is the provider, or the one that's going to be hunting and gathering, not so much now, but back in the day. And so we look at the Emperor as somebody who is very responsible. So we're going to take a couple seconds here and just read our excerpt from the Llewellyn's Tarot Calendar in 2018. We've been going through in each video talking about the concept that when we start the Major Arcana, which are our life lessons, there are 22 of these cards in the tarot, and each Major Arcana card is like is a lesson that we have to understand, a person that we start to embody, or an experience that we start to understand. And the Fool is the person that goes through each of these experiences. So we're going to talk about the Fool meeting the Emperor today. So here we go. The Fool, walking along and enjoying one of the Empress's sandwiches, found the Emperor. The Emperor demanded to be shown the Fool's supplies. He asked about the Fool's journey and how he would make his provisions stretch for the entire adventure. The Fool had no answers, and so the Emperor lectured him about the importance of responsibility, stewardship, and the general advisability of always having a plan. With the Emperor's help, he sorted his provisions so that he had enough for several days. So based off of that reading, we can kind of get the picture here of what we're looking at when we look at the Emperor. So Like I said, he's usually like, he's dad, he's the hunter and gatherer, he's the or the provider, he's making sure that all the bills are paid, he's making sure that there's money for things, he's making sure that, you know, the 401k is up to date and that there's, you know, the insurance is written. He's doing all of those sort of things. So this Emperor card that we're looking at right here is coming from the Shadowscapes Tarot. So we're seeing some of the same sort of symbolism in this card, very different. The Shadowscapes Tarot is usually very much more detailed than our Rider-Waite deck, but the same sort of concepts in here. So in the Rider-Waite deck, we saw that there are rams all over the Emperor's throne. And then there's also the symbolism of the ram in this Emperor card with what he has on his head. So what the ram symbolizes is Mars and Aries. So Aries and Mars are associated with war and associated with aggressiveness and sometimes hostility and those sort of things. Not in necessarily like, you know, he's gonna go to war, but at the end of the day, that's what the man does. He is the one that is taking care of his family. He is the fighter. He is the black and white responsible guy. He's gonna roll up his sleeves, and if he needs to take somebody down, he's gonna take somebody down. So we see that symbolism in our Rider-Waite deck, and we see that symbolism again in our Shadowscapes Tarot. And we will see it a little bit more in one of the, I believe, in one of the other decks. But we're going to go also now into the Everyday Tarot deck by Bridget Esselmont. So this is a really nice tarot deck, very easy to understand, very cut and dry, pretty simplistic, like minimalistic, if you will. And we're again looking at some of the same sort of symbolism now in Rider-Waite and in Shadowscapes. We also see the Emperor holding this little ball in his hands. I have my little crystal ball here too, but it doesn't really help with anything. It's just cute. So what the ball is symbolic of is the world that the Emperor rules. So again, another very masculine trait is this idea that this man is powerful and controlling, and, you know, there's something to be said about, you know, how he controls, how he rules. The Emperor is always shown, no, I can't say always because we're going to see a little bit different in another deck here, but he's usually shown on a throne because he's a ruler. He's the king. He's taking care of everything. He's delegating things. He's like, you know, he's in charge of everything. He's the king of the castle. So he's also very, the Emperor is very, he doesn't like change. He doesn't like to talk about his feelings and his emotions. Where we talked last week about the Empress card, and the Empress is very nurturing, very kind, very caring and gentle. The Empress is her partner, or the Emperor is her partner, but he is the other side of the spectrum. That's the yin and the yang. So we have to really take a look at this, because this is something, like I said, the reason we do these videos is to bring some of the practicality out of the tarot, and understanding that, you know, for everything that women usually are, everything that moms usually are, dads have their own thing going on, or men have their own thing going on. So there's that balance that comes in, and every man is the women, is the feminine side of him, and in every woman is the more aggressive masculine side of her. And the goal is to keep the two balanced. So I really like these two cards when we work off of the Empress and the Emperor, because it's a way for us to really say, okay, like, check in with yourself, like how much aggression or how much responsibility or how masculine are you as a woman, or how feminine is your husband, or how feminine are you as a man? Are you honoring your emotions? Are you paying attention to your intuition? Are you doing those sort of things? Or do you say, oh no, I'm a man and I don't have feelings and I don't do any of that sort of stuff? The Emperor, at the end of the day, yes, he is aggressive. Yes, he is assertive. Yes, he is dominating and controlling and strong and masculine. But he also pays attention and knows that he does have feelings, and that, you know, it might take some, you know, kind of cracking down into it to get there, but those emotions are there. So the last card we're going to look at, the last Emperor card, is our Emperor out of the Dreaming Way Tarot. So anyone who's watched these videos with me before knows that this deck I have been working out of the longest. I've had this deck for a good 6 years or so, and I really love this deck. And this one has more kind of subtle symbolism in it. So this Emperor is not on a throne, but he is sitting, and you can take it like he's very deep in thought. And also I want to pay attention to the colors in his outfit. So he has his blue robe, if you will, but he also has the black and white check. And the black and white is symbolic of what we said before, the black and white. He has a tendency not to see anything in between. He sees like this is good and bad, and he's very judgmental. He's trying to categorize things. He's trying to wrap his head around things. What is he thinking about? So he, as a man, our Emperor is always going to spend a lot of time deep in thought. Like we read in our excerpt here, he's going to ask you, how are you prepared? What are you doing? What are your steps? What do you have? Are you sure this is going to last you long enough? So there's a lot of that coming out in this card, where his partner, the Empress, is not worried about that sort of stuff. She has more faith attached to her. She has more intuition attached to her. Doesn't mean that it's a good or bad thing. It's just like I always say to my clients, whenever the Emperor comes up, he's the man's man. He functions from that place of thinking it through, planning, being responsible, kind of dominating things, being in charge. He's the king of the castle. And I will also say that we are actually in the year of the Emperor. If we pay attention to the numerology side of the tarot, the Emperor's number is 4. So we've done 5 videos because we start with the Fool, and the Fool is labeled 0. The Emperor is the 4th card in the Major Arcana, and if you take 2020 and add your 2 and 0, 2 and 0, you're going to get 4. So the Emperor card is actually a very big theme for the year 2020. So what this means is that we have to take the message that comes out of this guy and apply it to our life in 2020 and say, okay, where can I instill more structure? Where can I pay attention to the father figures? Where can I learn something from my husband, or my husband has something to teach me? Or there's a strong focus on what we get from that responsible structure, make things happen kind of card. Yeah, so this is a really, like I said, is a really cool card. Very different than what we've been looking at the past couple of weeks with these Major Arcana cards. It takes more of a direct turn when we turn into the Emperor, and when we start looking at him, we're not so much in the intuitive stuff that we saw with our Empress and our High Priestess and some of the earlier cards. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Thank you so much for being here. This is Sarah from Natural Peace Living and naturalpeaceliving.com. If you have any questions, you know what to do. You know how to get in touch with me. And I want you to please feel free to subscribe, share these videos. It's super helpful to me. It's helpful for people who are starting to kind of turn into, tarot enthusiasts and whatnot. And the goal, like I said, is to make it so that it's more practical, and make it so that this is something that you can use, and not just something that's like woo-woo, airy-fairy. So hopefully this was helpful, guys. Take care. Have a great day.